Hi, I'm Venk,
And I'm Jaya.
and this is the Reality Hate episode 34. We've done 34 episodes for you, our beloved followers and friends.
Yes.
And if you wouldn't mind, we'd really appreciate it if you like this video, because you will like this video, and subscribe to our channel, but also click the notification bell so you can be notified when our next episode comes upon you.
Yes.
We have 2 episodes per show we're covering.
Yes, which I'm going to kind of like skip through Salt Lake City from last week because nothing happened, which is why we kind of took some time because there wasn't too much to talk about.
And neither with the episode 19 of Beverly Hills leading up into episode 20, which was the season finale.
Yes.
Would you like to start, my darling?
Sure. So let's recap.
Recap.
Yes. Salt Lake City. So at the end of last week's episode, which is really where everything happens, Jen has invited everyone to an ice fishing party, and everyone shows up. Everyone's excited. We find out in this week's episode that Heather lied about her weight. Everybody had to give their weight, and Heather lied, and she said, "I'm not going to the weak part of the ice" at one point because I lied about my weight, which I would probably do that too. So
I lied about my weight. It's all falsified information.
Don't look at my license. I mean, it's like, you know.
If I could lie about my age on my license, I'd do that too.
So anywho, so in the top of, so everybody comes at the end of last week's episode, and Meredith decides to show up. And she decided to come because she wants to confront Jen, and she basically wants to talk to Jen about the comments and the tweets that she's reposting and sharing about her son Brooks, because Jen is a bitch, and Jen is calling out Brooks on his sexuality. He has not come out. He is not comfortable discussing it. And she's basically attacking this 21-year-old, right?
Yeah. And we support Brooksmarks.
Yes, we like you, Bookmark. We like you a lot. So anywho, Meredith shows up and basically asks to speak to Jen, and she's like, "Look, I want to lay it out here. Like, you've said this about my son, you've said this about my son, and you've said this, and it's not okay, and it needs to stop. And I don't necessarily need the apology. My son needs the apology." And of course, Jen is like deflecting and lashing out and everything, using every bad tool in the book from all her.
Like,
yes. And I mean, she's like, "You're attacking my kid. Like, why are you attacking my kid?" And she's like, "What about my kids?" And everyone's like, "What? What do you mean, what about your kids?" She's like, "Well, Brooks talked about my vagina. And as you said, Bank, Jen talked about her vagina."
She was openly opening her legs.
Yes. And he didn't talk about her vagina. Like,
he said he saw it.
Yes, that's all he said. And how does that, she's done much worse that, to embarrass her family. So this simple tweet, again,
not a big deal.
Not a big deal. And I don't even think he tweeted about it. Maybe he just said it in a confessional.
He said it
to his mother.
He said it to his mother. He's like, "I saw her vagine."
Right.
And that's just a statement of truth.
It's the truth. So like, wear underwear and don't spread your legs. Like, if you don't want people to see your vagina.
Or let your
Same as Erica Jane. Like, didn't PK see Erica Jane's vagina or something last season or the season before? Whatever. Anyway.
Like a Venus flytrap.
What?
It's like a Venus flytrap.
Venus flytrap. So anyway, Meredith gets really frustrated, and the episode basically ends with Meredith storming out. Episode opens, Lisa Barlow runs over to Meredith in this week's episode. She's like, stay, let's work this out. You need to talk. You need to be friends. I had something like this happen to me once. I was in a fast food restaurant and someone told me my son's head was large. It's the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. It's not.
I think the problem is because of Lisa's spiritual beliefs. She cannot comprehend it.
I mean, anything. Like, I mean, she's cray cray.
Lisa, I can't with her.
Lisa Barlow. She is like enemy number one right now in my list. I mean, like, even though.
And then we have like.
Jen's really bad, but.
We have Jen and we have Mary Cosby. Well, Mary Cosby, some part of me
is just like, crazy.
She's just crazy. She might be running a cult. We might find out
later.
We'll
find out soon. And she speaks nonsense. You never understand what she's saying. And Heather actually says that in this episode. So anywho, somehow Lisa Barlow gets, Meredith to not leave. And Jen's basically like, claiming she didn't do anything wrong and that there's a double standard. And then she lashes out on Lisa when Lisa's trying to bring them together. And she's like, what about this stuff with Whitney and Heather? Like, why are you making me work it out when you're not working it out with them? And they're kind of like, yeah, I mean, you did attack us. Why aren't you working it out with us? So then finally, Jen throws a temper tantrum, tears a diamond tennis bracelet that Lisa Barlow thinks is worth $70,000 that she
I don't think it's worth
stolen money.
But I'm sorry, that tennis bracelet did not look like it's worth $70,000.
No.
No. I'd say 15 grand max.
If it's real, it could be cubic zirconias, or it could be real and bought with other people's money. That seems to be a theme in the Real Housewives. Throws it, storms off. Then her assistant Stu, who's also a jailbird, tries to calm Jen down and reason with her. And he's like, you don't have to say you're sorry, but don't you want peace? Let's make peace. What happens when we fight? What's going to happen when we both get caught with our pants down? We're going to work it out and be friends and back each other up and say we didn't do anything wrong. So basically, Jen goes back to Meredith, apologizes, and says that she's going to make an apology to Brooks.
And I can't wait to see that.
I'd love to see if it happens. I mean, I hope it happens.
They show them sitting down together.
Dude, I somehow didn't see it. Oh my God.
They show them sitting down together.
Well,
that is the most uncomfortable lunch date ever.
Well, and then there's also Lisa and Whitney having an uncomfortable lunch date next week.
Whitney, you're cute. You're better than Lisa.
Well, we know that, right? Because then after all of this, which Lisa Barlow's so happy that they made up, she's happier than anybody else. Nobody else is happy. Lisa just doesn't want the issue between her friends, but she doesn't realize that she's now become the villain. So Lisa, then we see her get together. They introduce someone new. Lisa gets together with her friend Angie, who they've been friends for 20 years. We find out that Angie is related to Whitney because they share this great grandfather who's the founder of the Mormon church.
It's all very complicated.
What is the Mormon path that he paved? Whatever it's called, the Mormon Trail.
It's the Oregon Trail.
The Oregon Trail.
Some people, it was their version of the Trail of Tears. Anyway.
Exactly. No, I had that same thought, but then I was like, no, it's the Oregon Trail.
Sorry.
A game I played as a child. So anyway, we meet Angie, who I like a lot. We find out that she and Lisa, like I said, have been friends for 20 years. They bonded over fast food and getting into parties. And they open on them discussing how they love Chick-fil-A and that Angie eats at Chick-fil-A almost every day is what she said. I don't believe it, but she
First
eats
of all,
Chick-fil-A often.
that's
But
disgusting.
then
And I'm fat.
5 more, I've never even had it and I won't.
But I have had it. I am so sorry. Whomever thinks Chick-fil-A is great, it's not. First of all, if you want some good chicken, Popeyes is open on Sundays and less homophobic.
I've never had Popeyes either.
Oh, get the okay. So first of all,
I'm not a big chicken fan.
okay, but first of all, they've got more than chicken. They have bread, good delicious biscuits. Speaking of biscuits, I had Cheddar Bay biscuits yesterday. I went to the Red Lobster.
I heard.
I know. I went to the Red Lobster, and me and my friend, including tax and tip, paid $180.
So will you be taking your date that emails us to the Red Lobster?
You know what? If it's a date, I would.
Are you saying it's a 1 drink maximum or?
I mean, honestly, when you're at Red Lobster, you're not thinking about alcohol as much as you're thinking about do you know how much butter is on everything?
I mean, yeah, I would imagine.
By the way, our waitress looked a little bit like Felicia Culata, Britney Spears' former
Yes.
sister.
Aw,
She was so nice. We went all the way to Canoga Park.
hey, there's one right by me on Century.
Can we go there sometime?
Yeah, of course.
I would love it.
Anyway, back to it. So
Yeah.
we meet Angie. They talk. She's discussing how she eats Chick-fil-A all the time, and then she says, "I have a trans child." I was like, "What?"
There's a
And she is throwing this gambling casino night benefit, a Mormon, but she's not practicing anymore, which good. For an organization for the LGBTQ plus community.
You almost sounded like Prime Minister of Canada. What's his name? Trudeau.
Trudeau.
He goes LDGBBG. You have to Google it because it's hilarious because he's like tongue tied. He's like
I mean, I did get a little tongue tied. I did.
It's hard to say LGBTQIA.
Oh, and I didn't say IA. I just said plus.
I always wonder if what the I stands for or the Q. Q is questioning.
Queer. Questioning.
Questioning or queer?
I thought it was queer.
I thought I was maybe interested or interested. I'm gay. I need to be a better homosexual.
Maybe you should look it up.
Be best.
Be best. Okay. Be best.
Be better.
Be best. Be better. Be Rapunzel in the White House. So anyway, so she's throwing this party, which we basically get to, right? Eventually. Then we see quickly Mary meeting with Meredith, and Mary is talking nonsense. Meredith is basically saying, like, things are okay with Jen. She's going to apologize to Brooks. And also, are you going to this casino night? And Mary's like, I've decided to go. Yes, I'm going to actually show up at a party with all the women.
She wants to stay on the show. They probably had to pull her into the principal's office over at Bravo.
Right. So then, and also Meredith had a Bears hat on from her hometown, Chicago. She did. She had one on, even though they're not doing that well. And then we see the women get to the party, and Mary Cosby and Heather are in a car together, and she's basically asking Mary, like, what is your advice for me approaching Lisa? And it was like just nonsense. Nothing made sense.
Straight up Nazis.
Like nothing made sense. So anyway, we get to this party, and a quick side note.
Yeah.
Angie and Lisa. So during their discussion after Chick-fil-A, Angie says, I want to let you know I've invited Whitney and Heather to the party. And Lisa was uncomfortable.
Right.
So we find out that Lisa, before the party starts, because Angie and Whitney get together for lunch because they're cousins. And Angie says, listen, I had something weird happen after my discussion with Lisa Barlow about my party. 5 hours later, the caterers that she recommended and that I was using canceled on me because they said they are close to Lisa Barlow and they don't want to basically upset her. And so they can't cater the event. So she was left without a caterer, which it didn't matter. It still turned out really well.
My question is, so if the caterers wanted to keep business with Lisa Barlow, why would they admit that it was Lisa Barlow that said
Right,
it?
exactly. The fact that they even said that,
But
they said it in the text
But
message.
do you think it's true, or do you think it's meant? Like, what do you think? Like, I
I
don't know.
think I think that Lisa Barlow had something to do with it. I do.
But then it wouldn't be good business for that catering company. They screwed over.
I know, but Lisa Barlow is the one that handles all the big events in Salt Lake City, right?
Yeah, but Lisa Barlow doesn't want to know, shouldn't want them to know that she's the one that acts.
Maybe they messed up, right? And the only way they could say is like, we're close to Lisa Barlow, whatever. I don't believe it because I did see, she has the receipts, right?
Yeah.
Then she also reveals to Whitney that she doesn't really want Angie to say that they're related, and she wishes that she would say that, like, not say that she's related to Whitney, and basically has asked her in so many words not to be friends with her and Heather.
I think the worst part is to ask to not be related. We're not related.
Yes.
Your reputation in Salt Lake City, state of what?
I mean, yeah, but let's talk about your red boots. Remember those from last season? Like, those should have given you a bad reputation.
I love Barlow soup though. Oh, but it's barley.
It's barley soup. So anyway, we get to the party, and basically Lisa Barlow walks in and Whitney is standing there and she says hello to other people and basically does not acknowledge. She says hello to Angie. She says hello to everyone else and does not acknowledge Whitney. It's like very rude. Like the way she does it is she's just like, hi, yeah.
Obvious. But I do like what happens next when they jump over the.
Right. So then they're avoiding. So also it's an event where they can wear like hundreds of thousands of dollars in jewelry. So they're all like dressing in diamonds.
Nothing tacky about that.
Nothing tacky about that. Everybody is gambling. The Mormons are going crazy. They're drinking. And then it's hell.
We're cancel culture.
The chastity, can't talk tonight. Belts have fallen off and they are going crazy.
What about the all white underoos?
The all white underoos with the.
Do you know there's Mormon, there's kinky gay Mormon porn?
No.
Well, they're not really.
You've seen it?
Not really. How would I know it existed?
Well, maybe someone told you.
No, we're in the Comus gay community. We're an exploratory type.
So anyway, then Jen walks in and everybody's like basically like Mary Cosby's trying to climb a wall to get away from her, and they're trying to like hoist her over.
She like weighs about 2 pounds and 2 ounces.
Couldn't get up, but Whitney got up.
Whitney's got some muscle.
So eventually Mary Cosby and Jen sit down.
Yeah.
And Mary's like, you've said really bad things about me, which that tweet was really mean. It's like how it's been. And it's like a grandfather with like a small child. And then it's how it's going. It's Mary Cosby with her husband. That's funny. Jen, that was funny.
Jen, it was funny. If you didn't want to be friends with this person, I would throw that shade in a second.
I mean, it was great. So Mary's basically like, you hurt my feelings and you're mean to me. And so Jen apologizes and then they pinky swear that like she's not going to be mean to Mary again. Like Mary's basically like, pinky swear me.
Just so the audience knows, the things that happen when you're a child, they just happen when you're an adult on a bigger scale.
It never goes away. You think
never, like, the bullshit continues.
Yes.
So like, when you're making fun of us for being whatever, we're geriatric millennials, just know one thing. You'll be geriatric sometime soon.
Except I'm not geriatric.
Right.
I'm actually only 22.
And I just turned 66.
So, I mean, it's a weird relationship, but I wanted to, he didn't have any friends in his nursing.
I'm her grandfather, and she's gonna keep.
So anywho, we get to the good stuff, which is basically Angie confronts Lisa. And Angie's basically like, you tried to sabotage my party. Why did you do that? This is all over Whitney. Whitney comes to sit down. All the women are like, I got to go in. The drama's happening. Lisa denies. She stands up. She wants her husband, John. She's crying and she storms off. And that's where we leave it.
That's where we leave it.
Lisa Barlow's a liar and she's causing trouble and not being a good Mormon.
Anyway, we'll be right back after this break. I mean, I found it and I was like, I'm getting this.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's so good.
What makes the black water?
A blend of fulvic trace minerals, hydration, and electrolytes. Alkaline, pH 8.0 plus, water beveragino.
Oh,
interesting. I love electrolytes personally.
Yeah. You look great. Quenches that thirst.
You should just keep it in because
black water. We like it.
So good. And we're back.
Black water.
Now let's get into it. We've got Beverly Hills season 11, episode 19 and 20, the season finale to cover. So episode 19 starts off with them at Lorimar Vineyards. Okay, Kathy and her wine. I love it.
Oh my gosh.
She follows the rule, the 5 S's: see, sniff, swirl, sip, and swallow.
I know.
Which is also the rules of West Hollywood. They love all the wine. They're just getting wasted. I love it. They question Erica's story, like literally every scene in this episode is like, okay, we get it, y'all. We get it. Okay, we get it. Stop questioning your, like, we get it.
They question it, but they stand by her.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, but they stand by her.
And then Sutton says she doesn't want to play Fancy Drew, which I thought was hilarious. Sutton's been giving some shade.
I like Sutton. She's grown on me, except for her like sprained ankle. I mean, give me a break. She is just drawing that out. It's ridiculous.
Everybody wants a little sympathy now and then. Okay. Have you seen my childhood? So Erica comes to dinner at the Fairmont and takes a dig. She digs at Sutton. She says, you're taking the low road.
Taking the low road.
It leads me to like Erica's voice has changed since the first time she was on the show. She sounds like a Disney villain because she is a Disney villain.
Sounds like Ursula.
Right? And she's like, Tom rolled his car. I'm like, girl, shut up. Erica still says that Tom has done a lot for people. He has done a lot to people.
Yeah.
You swapped out words.
Yeah.
Swapped out words there.
Yeah.
Sutton just can't. That's one of my notes. Sutton just can't even. And Erica lived next door to Armie Hammer?
And supposedly had sex with him, but not really.
No, her brother, her son asked if she had. She's like, no.
Well, because there was a rumor.
Well,
that
she's
he
still
did.
alive and not flambéed, so we know she didn't.
I mean, her face looks a little different now, so maybe he took a chunk out of there and there was repair.
Allegedly on both accounts. So then they go to the pool. That's great. I don't care what yoga on the pool. Stop screwing our culture up. Whatever. It looks like fun. It's probably hard to do.
It looked like fun, but it's hard, I'm sure.
I would never.
I have, of course, paddleboarded. I've just never.
Listen, I don't go into the water. I'm afraid someone will harpoon my fat ass. Listen.
When I was in Australia with my sister, we paddleboarded and there were so many jellyfish in the water. I was so afraid of falling in. She kept falling in. I didn't because I get stung.
I will tell you this. I've swam off the coast in Maui and I've like really swam and I've swam off
really swam, meaning from
snorkels,
the boat to
like
the
snorkels and like seeing fish and shit and like being okay taking off my shirt in public.
But not like Olympic swimming.
Yeah, I have never done Olympic swimming. In middle school when I was put in like when you have class and we had like my junior high had like not middle, my junior high like had a Olympic sized swimming pool and I was in the slowest people's lane. Brad and this girl Morgan and it was embarrassingly slow. Anyway, I gotta get over those memories. Just kidding. Okay.
No, don't take me back to mine.
Don't. Okay, so Sutton talks way too much about Erica. Like, I mean, I really want Sutton to, but I think she, obviously in the interviews, they're doing it, I'm sure post, they're doing it after they've taped. So she's like she kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? She doesn't act as she's acting when she's on the show. In the confessionals, I believe they're taped after. So she has a little more gumption there, which I'm glad because Sutton, like Erica's bullshit. Don't worry about her.
Right.
And Erica's like, she's done talking to Sutton. Nobody cares. Erica.
But then there's a flip.
She's always flipping. She's flipping out.
No, but there is the flip in that episode.
Oh yeah. It happens later, and it's diabolical in my opinion. We find out Crystal's been with women, like literally, guys. You have to. Hey, Bravo, listen. We're a certain generation and whatever. We're like 22 forever, but like there are Gen Z people like, so it's not a big deal to the Gen Z who you want to get as your audience. At some point, nobody cares if
nobody cares.
Okay.
No. So like, let's get to the interesting stuff because like nobody cared about that stupid.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, I'm saying like the never have I ever, like no, nothing out of it.
Wait, hold on. But did I get anything good? Okay, so then they go on a boat. And I said Lisa's jokes are stupid. And then they play, okay, so Garcelle, but like Garcelle, girl, what were you thinking? Or what was fed to you by the producers to ask that you guys should play Never Have I Ever? And it's like,
that used to be my favorite, like drinking, we'd be drinking and I'd be like, who wants to play Never Have I Ever?
The whole
not at 40, 22.
The whole thing seemed like a producer told us, say like, never have I ever stolen anything. And Eric is like, yeah. And then Erica goes crazy, and then Sutton switches. She's like, "Okay, so we're gonna switch the conversation." Erica, you're not doing yourself any favors.
No favors.
And then I love when Sutton says, "But she goes, I would get a little scary if I lost all my money." Like, Okay, so that was it, episode 19, and it was kind of boring and blah, 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 blah.
And yes, Erica flipped and was suddenly really nice to Sutton.
And then, yeah, she was nice, but then she was mean. She was nice walking up to the boat, and then she was mean on the boat.
And then nice again. I mean, it was a weird situation. You know what I mean? Like,
they be doing the most. Oh, yeah, they be doing the most. But
yes.
So that leads into the series season finale. Series finale, I don't know.
Maybe.
The series finale. So first of all, let's just, there was some dumb beginning part. Lisa's talking to Harry about something. I don't care.
But we also did see Dorit's children hate what Dorit was wearing. Good.
Thank God. But okay, first of all, the restaurant on La Cienega next to Fogo de Chao, I've never been there, nor did I know that restaurant was where they filmed the Kill Bill scene with Lucy Liu and Uma Thurman. I've never been there. Can we go?
Yes.
Like,
let's add it to the list. I was just thinking, like, we need to go to Salem. We could go there anytime. Let's just go.
Like, I've been to Fogo de Chao. I went to Fogo de Chao in Chicago, but it's like such a fun place. And also, you were just at Yamashiro, and I've always wanted to go to Yamashiro. Can we go to Yamashiro?
Yeah, we can go to Yamashiro after we go to Shan.
Yeah. Which one do you think is more expensive? I think Yamashiro is probably more expensive.
I don't know.
And we can go to Shen, and then we can go see Shen Yin.
Yes.
No, that's a cult.
I've always not wanted to see it.
Who wants to see Shen Yin? Anyway, Crystal is hosting her New Year's party at Shen Social House, which is on La Cienega here in New York.
In New York, in Grosse Pointe, Indiana.
Plays. Okay, so then we cut to Erica still mad at Sutton. Surprise, surprise.
But part of the reason she's mad at Sutton is because Kyle stirred the pot.
Well, Kyle, and I was
troublemaker.
Kyle, this is why I haven't been liking.
Right, she did it.
I think she's becoming like Lisa. She's the only OG.
I know.
So
she did it. Things were okay with Sutton and Erica. Like, it was like, okay, we're not really friends, but we're past this issue. And what does Kyle do?
She brings it up again.
And says, Sutton said this.
Yeah, that's at the restaurant Thea
with the drinks. I had never heard of it. Thea.
Before that, Kathy and Sutton hang out. Kathy's like spec home, and Kathy is just looking like a lampshade, the most beautiful lampshade I've ever seen. That hat. I love her.
$52 million house that she's going to be selling, that she bought and then decided she didn't want.
Kathy, whatever hat you want. I love this woman.
I do too.
I have never. I mean, it's also because, of course, she said she loved me in public once.
She did. And her daughter, Paris.
Her fabulous Paris Hilton, follows us on TikTok.
Yes.
So Paris Hilton is following us on TikTok. Why aren't you following us on TikTok?
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube,
MySpace, Friendster.
Friendster.
Okay. Why aren't you following us?
Yelp.
Now that's what I call music.
Wait.
Let's forget I did that. I don't know. Anyway, way to kill a joke. So then, so Kyle brings that up at Thea
to glow in the dark drinks where they fight over a purse chair. That one killed me.
But that lavender drink looked pretty tasty.
You can go there too.
Yeah, we should eat there too. I'm just thinking about food.
We'll go have glow in the dark drinks.
Love glow in the dark drinks.
Yeah.
And then Garcelle goes on her date with that guy who looked hot in the pictures. Didn't quite translate. He was definitely not giving what he was supposed to give, and he didn't.
He was douchey. I was like so glad she didn't take it any further.
I think he was just scared, poor guy, but he was also not as cute as he was in the picture.
Yeah, and she's thinking of breaking up with Damona.
I mean, listen, Garcelle can have whomever she wants.
Right. And maybe she doesn't need,
You need a man. Garcelle, maybe you just need a good bone once in a while.
Yeah. Vank. You could email Vank.
I need a good
at realityhatef@gmail.com.
And we can reality hate F anytime you want.
That's right. After the Red Lobster.
Well, I mean, if we're feeling,
you'll step it up. You'll step it up.
I won't eat too much.
Maybe Fogo de Chao.
That's not the kind of gay date scenario that can happen. Okay, so then we have Erica acting rude again. I can't do it. They're all together, and Kyle talks about. So Kyle talks about sweeping things under the rug, and like pointedly is talking to Sutton. And I'm like, Kyle,
wait. Are you talking about the Chinese New Year dinner?
No, we're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we are there yet. Sorry. We are at Chinese New Year. Sorry. Yeah, so at Chinese New Year, which is inappropriate because specifically Crystal's like nothing bad should happen that evening.
And what does Kyle do?
Why do we have some cultural sensitivity? You're at Chinese New Year.
Did you see her hair and Erica's hair? And
her and Erica's hair was bothersome, but I do want to say that Crystal's dress,
beautiful.
I loved it. And it was by a Chinese designer.
Yep.
And it was just like gorgeous.
Yeah.
I think Lisa Rinna looked like a mess. I don't know.
I loved that Garcelle was like, what do you say when someone shows up like that? What do you say? You just kind of say, wow.
Like Garcelle's style is very casual. Like I feel like she has the same kind of laid back style aesthetic as like Denise Richards. Like she doesn't care. She always looks good. She's Garcelle Beauvais.
But she doesn't stand out. She's not gonna like stand out and be
because the thing is, I realize with the ones who have had like acting careers, they don't need to stand. They don't need to.
They don't care. They're not proving.
You don't need to prove. Garcelle needs to prove nothing to nobody.
No.
Garcelle was on Models Inc.
Man, Models Inc.
Love that one season. That one season gave me Fox canceled that shit. I got fucking pissed off. Okay, I don't want to get mad. Erica and Sutton kind of talk again, like whatever, and now we move into like, do you want to?
I just have to say, like the fact that like Kyle calls out Sutton, like leave her alone. At what point? We've had this discussion at nauseum. Like, leave her alone. What does Kyle do? She causes trouble with Erica and Sutton. What happens? She pushes. Here we are pushing Sutton into an uncomfortable situation again. Like, what don't you get, Kyle?
It's a mess. And then, of course, we see the little like what happens in their lives. And so Kyle is close again with Kathy, obviously, and now she has Kim's phone number. And then Dorit has added a ready to wear line, and she's designed her reunion dress, and PK has named it the reunion.
Can't wait.
I mean, this guy
is groundbreaking.
He should be working for all the marketing. He's so genius. And then Lisa is adding an acrylic line, and she's happy that Scott is no longer with her daughter because if that was going to be the case, there would have been the sequel to Not Without My Daughter.
That's right.
Lisa Rinna story. Garcelle is not dating to the happiness of her children, but she will bang Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt once dated who is Mike Tyson's ex-wife? Robin Givens.
Oh.
Brad Pitt used to, okay, Brad Pitt was.
Oh, I did know this.
Yeah, Mike Tyson shows up at her house. It's like banging on the door and she tells Brad Pitt to hide. That's my favorite celebrity story. And then once I met Brad Pitt.
You did? Where?
At the Golden
Globes. Oh.
I went to the Golden Globes.
That's a good one. That's a good meet.
You know? I mean, hello. That's it. But like, God, he looks like just freshly churned butter. Like,
Brad Pitt, huh?
He
doesn't do it for me.
Listen,
but he's handsome.
When you see him in person,
you feel differently.
I mean, it's like you've seen somebody for so much that you kind of get on TV that you kind of like, okay, whatever, that's Brad Pitt. Then you see them in person.
And you're like, I've had that experience as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have had that experience. You're like, wait, what?
When I lived in Chicago and worked at Ralph Lauren, that's what I had with Jennifer Aniston and Sandra Bullock. Like Jennifer Aniston walks in, you know, nobody's going to say she's, look, I think she's very pretty, but like, I don't know if you'd call her the greatest beauty of all time. Would you? Personally.
I think she's really pretty. I mean,
think she's really, but when you see her in person, she's beautiful. And not only that, every strand of her hair, you can see. Her hair is so good that you can see every different strand of her hair. Wow. Same with Sandra Bullock. Like it's because you've seen these people so much, and then you're like, oh, okay, I've seen this face, right? But I like this face I see, but I've seen it so much. But when you see it in person,
I know.
It's just like you're a star.
It could be for the better or it could be for the worse. I've had meets where I'm like, oh, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if I've had any.
I have. Like not aging well.
And
I'm not going to say who, but you know.
I can't say who either because that was also at the Golden Globes. I haven't seen celebrities in a long time. I just give them clothing and I just give them. Anyway, Crystal raises a toast before all that, and she's very gracious. And Erica says that she's been 100% honest and has faced down every question to the best of her ability. ... Your Honor. Like, I feel like she's preparing for her cart.
I mean, she contradicts herself the entire season, and we're gonna see it all come out.
I'm very excited. 4-part episode. I'm super excited to watch it. And you know, I am more excited about that. What I'm not excited about is nobody submitted taglines, and that's fine. You know, here's the thing. We have this show. We're also on Ruckus Avenue Radio with a show called Sorry, Not Sorry.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can get in touch with us, or you can maybe come with me to Red Lobster.
Or maybe you could come when we're recording at Ruckus and you can knock on the window on Hollywood Boulevard while we're recording, and you can put your paper up there with your tagline and we'll write it down.
We'll write it down. It's at Ruckus Avenue Radio. It's Dash Radio. On Hollywood Boulevard. And we are recording there, so you can like maybe fall in love with me.
And he'll take you to the local restaurant around the corner.
Yeah.
For a nice taco meal.
I love a taco meal. Sounds gross. It's delicious. I love tacos. Anyway, you can follow us on Instagram at RealityHateF. Follow us on TikTok at RealityHateF, along with Paris Hilton, who follows us on TikTok. Paris Hilton follows us on TikTok. Why can't you follow us on TikTok? Yeah. She's amazing. I love her. And also, we have, what other accounts do we have? We have an email account.
We have an email account.
RealityHateF@gmail.com. That's RealityHateF@gmail.com. And anyway, I'm Venk.
I'm Jaya.
Good night. And good
night.
Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo. Okay, start.
Blackwater. We like it.
So good.
Quenches that thirst.
So good.